Good morning. I am super excited about the art project that we are going to do this week because I think they are going to turn out so cute and I can't wait to see yours. I can't wait to make mine because I think it's going to be adorable. So first thing I wanted to tell you is what you're going to need to complete today's art project. So I have here all of the things I think. I think I've thought enough ahead that I'm going to need for the art project. So I need scissors and glue. I need a pencil and an eraser. I need some markers. Now you can use paint, you can use pencil crayon, you can use crayon. It's to do the background for our polar bear. So whatever colors you have, and then I've chose some blue and purples, kind of like how we talked about last week with our Ted Harrison art, those are kind of some darker colors. They also provide some contrast. And then I also have a black marker. And then I have 3 pieces of paper here. Now I have cardstock. It's a little bit of a thicker paper, but you can use regular paper too. That will work just fine. So I have one that's going to be my background that I'm going to build everything on. I have one that I'm going to use to cut out the polar bear's body. Did I mention that we're making a polar bear? We're making a 3-dimensional polar bear. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to pop right off the page. So I have another page that is for the polar bear's, like kind of the back part of his body. There's the bell. And then I have another page for the front part of his body and his head. And then I'm also going to use parts, kind of some scraps to make him 3-dimensional. So step number 1 is to do my background. Now, there's nothing really that your background needs to look like. I've decided I'm just going to do some blue and some purple. I might just draw some lines like this. Maybe I might have a little bit more purple. Maybe it's going to be a little bit less. Something like this. That's just going to be the background. And my polar bear, hopefully, will just jump right off. Okay, so let's see how this is going to look. Okay, alrighty. Wasn't sure how this was going to look. Thought I'd give it a try. Nothing wrong with experimenting. You don't like the way that it looks, you just flip the paper over and try again, right? Alright. And keep going down here. I want to use the entire paper, and maybe along the bottom, might draw like some snow, like make it kind of like a hill or something that my polar bear could stand on. Maybe I'm even going to name my polar bear Dwayne. Who knows? Could draw some of his friends in there too. Right, I think I'm going to leave that bottom part white. Maybe it's going to kind of look like he's standing on some snow. We'll see. I'll give that a try. If I don't like it, then I can always go back and color it in, right? Okay, so I have my background. If you're not done your background yet, that's okay. Just pause the video and then you can come back to it when your background is done. So I'm going to put this off to the side for now. And I'm going to take another one of my papers. And I want to draw with my pencil a nice big U shape. Now I don't want it to be huge because this is going to be the back part of my polar bear, but I also don't want it to be teeny tiny. Okay, so I'm going to draw something maybe like that. So I've made it like a U, and what we're actually going to do when we cut it out and glue it onto our background, we're actually going to flip it. Ooh, so now these are our polar bear's legs, and this would be like his back or his bottom. So I've got that one drawn, okay. Now I'm going to take my next piece. I'm going to draw a very similar shape, another kind of U. Maybe I'll flip this way so I can see it, but it's going to be smaller. This is going to be like his front legs. So kind of like that. You can see it's smaller. And then down here, I've left a little bit of room at the bottom. I'm going to draw my polar bear head. Now I'm just going to draw a circle. Ooh, I'm not going to draw a circle like that. Good thing I have my eraser. That would have been a very oval shaped head. I'll use my pencil. There, kind of like that. And then what I think I might do is I'm going to add some ears now. You could add ears now or you could add ears later. Ooh. Make them even though. Try my best to kind of make them the same shape. There we go, kind of like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out each of my 3 pieces, and I will see you soon. Okay, so I have cut out my 3 parts. I've got the back part of his body, the front part of his body, and his head, and I've kept the scraps because these are going to be really important when we come to put him together, which we're going to start to do right now. So I'm going to start with the big part of my body, and what I've done, you can kind of see I've got some pencil lines on this side, so I flipped it over, and that just makes it look a lot cleaner. I don't have to, I could go back and erase those pencil lines if I wanted to, but I think that that's just a little bit cleaner. So now I'm gonna, there, and it kind of looks like he's standing on the snow a little bit maybe. Ooh, okay, so now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to cover this side with glue so that this guy gets glued really well onto my paper. Okay, like that. Flip it over. Okay, just like that, and I'll push it down. Okay, now I want to take some of my scraps. I'm just going to take a little piece like this. Doesn't need to be super big, but I'm going to cut it kind of like that. And then have you ever seen, sometimes we do this with tape, and we will roll it into a little roll like this. So you can do that. You could either glue this, you can tape it. I might tape it because I think it's going to stay a little bit better if I tape it. Glue takes a while to dry, and I'm worried that it might spring apart. But if you only have glue, then use glue. That's okay too. I'm gonna tape it like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is this is going to join the back half of his body to the front half of his body. See how it kind of looks like it's sticking off the paper a little bit now? Like that. Now I could push this, make it a little bit flatter. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. Mine is kind of flat like that, but that's okay. And I'm going to put glue on this side. And then I'm going to push it down like this. Now I'm going to just flatten this, and it will, I can always pop it back up a little bit as I go. Okay, and then I'll put glue on this side. And then check to make sure I'm putting the right side down. I'll put my little polar bear's body on it like that. And I'll push down. Now you can kind of see it has a little bit, you can see a little bit of a shadow here. And once the glue dries a little bit, maybe I will pull it up off a little bit more. Can even pull his legs off a little bit more. So we've got part 1 kind of our 3-dimensional polar bear. So before I glue his head on, here's what I'm going to make him look a little bit more like a polar bear. So I'm going to color in a little black spot on his ears. Kind of like that, on both ears. Okay, and then let me draw his nose. So I'll do like an upside down triangle like that. Color that in. And then I'll do his eyes. Kind of like that. And I'm drawing like a little circle in the middle to leave a little spot of white on his eyes. That just kind of makes it look a little bit more realistic. There we go. So there's my little polar bear's face. And now I could just stick it on, but then it looks like it's like right attached to his front legs. So I'm going to do something that makes his head like a kind of like a bobblehead. You've ever seen those? So I'm going to take another piece of my scraps, and this piece is going to be a lot longer. And so I'm going to cut it like this. I don't need those wavy bits. Just need something, might even make it a little bit skinnier. I'm not quite sure I'm going to need it to be this long, but I'm going to try this to begin with. And then if I need to cut it shorter, I can always do that after. So I've got this piece. What I'm going to do is called an accordion fold. So I'm going to take the bottom here. I'm going to fold it up a little bit, kind of like that. And then what I'm going to do is flip it over. And I'm going to fold again, and I'm going to fold about the same distance. So see how my flap is here now? So I have folds like this. Then I'll flip it over, fold it about the same distance, like that. Flip it over, about the same distance. Flip it over. You're just going to keep going like that. Okay, and then I'm going to trim off this little bit of extra that I have. And now let's see. If I were to use this, oh, you know what? That actually might work pretty well. So I would glue his head on this side. And then this is going to get attached to his body. So, that head might be a little bit too far. Let me cut off just one little square of this. Okay, I think that's going to be about perfect. Okay, now I'm going to put the glue on one of the last flaps of my accordion, like this, and I'm going to glue it. Now notice how I'm gluing the accordion. I'm going to put it about here, okay? And then I'm going to really carefully now, because it's on my paper, put glue on this side of the accordion. Now I don't want to put glue on my head, because if I put glue on the back of my head, it might not be the right size and I might get glue everywhere and then it might stick to my body when I don't want it to do that. So I'm just going to put the glue on my accordion, put my head on, make sure it's nice and square, like that. And then let go, and I have a little three-dimensional polar bear. Look at that. And his head is sticking off the paper, his body's sticking off the paper a little bit. That glue's probably dry enough now so I can peel it off just a little bit more. There. And then I've got my three-dimensional polar bear. Look at him. He's so cute. All right. I can't wait to see what your little three-dimensional polar bears look like. So make sure you take a picture of them and submit it to me on Class Dojo. Have a great weekend.